to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Barr,
Here.
Giovanini,
Here.
Eckhoff,
Here.
Callis, Lee,
Here.
Cowser,
Here.
Bradshaw,
Here.
Cranford,
Here.
Howard,
Here.
Willie.
Here.
Thank you. Moving on, we have the consent agenda with just 2 items, which is kind of surprising.
I'll motion consent agenda approval.
Motion by Kelly, seconded by Scott. Roll call, please.
Barr,
Yes.
Giovanini,
Yes.
Eckhoff,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Cowser,
Yes.
Bradshaw,
Yes.
Cranford,
Yes.
Howard,
Yes.
Willie.
Yes.
Thank you. On the regular agenda, item A, ordinance 2023-022, Bernie Miller, special use. We want Dave to, Dave, do you want to fill us in on this?
Oh, yeah, he's asking for a special use to have self-storage units next to, it's legal because it's sets next to railroad right away.
Okay.
So it's permitted as long as he has a special use.
Okay. Everything went satisfactory at the zoning board meeting?
No, yeah.
Bernie's gonna meet all the requirements. He had already had that agreement that you approved to treat these as one lot. So he's gonna develop as if it's a single lot. And there's gonna be 2 buildings on there. The size all meets the size limitation, and it's already paved, so it should meet all the requirements. So the ordinance would just approve the special use without any special conditions at all. There's no special conditions I impose.
Any questions for Dave or Bernie? Bernie, anything you'd like to say?
Excuse me, no.
Okay.
If you're not careful, you're going to be the storage king of Livingston County.
Does he have a ladder?
Okay. Yes.
I just said if he's not careful,
Oh,
he's going to be the storage king of Livingston County.
okay.
I would motion approval of the special use permit.
Second.
Motion by Kelly, seconded by Jason Lee. Roll call, please.
Giovanini,
Yes.
Eckhoff,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Cowser,
Yes.
Bradshaw,
Yes.
Cranford,
Yes.
Howard,
Yes.
Willie,
Yes.
Barr.
Yes.
Thank you. Congratulations, Bernie.
Thank you.
Good luck. Appreciate it. Moving on, park surplus property disposition. I believe we have Gavin here to give us a little insight on that.
All right, so as you all know, we have gotten 3 new step machines at the rec center to replace our old new step machines. And tonight, council, I'm asking you for your approval for us to donate one of our old new step machines that is in the best condition and properly dispose of the other 2 machines that are in worse condition. People have already expressed interest in the old machines, and I think someone could benefit from our donation. When disposing of the other 2, with your permission, I'd like to look into recycling the machines.
Recycling them where?
So I've done some research, and I saw that Pontiac Recycling takes metal, maybe giving the metal frames to them, and also I wanted to see if the advanced technology recycling would take the electronic components of the machines, just to see, if it would be better than the landfill.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
2 of the machines were not in very good condition.
Yeah.
The one was, and we had discussed, like some of the other departments do, that if there was a nonprofit that would benefit the community that could benefit from that donation, that's what we would limit that donation to.
Yeah, it would need to go to a nonprofit. It can't go to
Absolutely.
an individual.
I just wanted to make that clear.
Okay. Any questions for Gavin?
Did you?
what was the cost of the electronic, have you checked into the cost of turning the electronics in?
No, I haven't checked the cost of that.
You should.
I have no idea.
Little boxes,
Yeah, I don't know.
not a lot there,
Hopefully they would just take them.
I
Yeah.
would think, but he's not real happy with us.
So you said you had someone interested. Was this an organization in the other one, in the third one?
No, it wasn't an organization, but I'd like to talk to some assisted living organizations around the area to see if
Okay,
they'd be
good. Okay.
able
thanks.
to take that.
Alrighty.
We're a little restricted in who we can donate to, so nonprofits are no problem.
Okay.
We need a motion to approve the disposal of.
I'd move to approve.
I second.
A motion by Mike Barr, seconded by Barb Howard. Roll call, please.
Eckhoff,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Cowser,
Yes.
Bradshaw,
Yes.
Cranford,
Yes.
Howard,
Yes.
Willie,
Yes.
Barr,
Yes.
Joe Vanini.
Yes.
Thank you, Gavin.
Thank you.
Next, we're moving on to sewer extension on Ewart Drive. I see Jake is getting up there to give us the good news.
Good news. This has been a topic of discussion with council, committees, et cetera, for probably going on 2 years now. The Ewing Drive Route 116 corridor on the west end of town is an area that is underserved for sanitary sewer infrastructure. So I think we originally looked at both the growth that is heading out that direction of town in conjunction with the State of Illinois Highway Department requesting connection to the city sanitary sewer system. We looked at that area on what we could do to serve both current and future properties with sanitary sewer. So if you recall earlier this year, we commissioned a Chamlin and Associates engineering firm to look at designing sanitary sewer extension out there, which consisted of a pump station, some force main connecting to an existing gravity sewer that serves OSF. So what this sewer system out there would open up would be, it would allow connection for the what was the defunct gas station on the northeast corner of or the southeast corner of Ewing Drive. Any development or growth south of them, south of RP Lumber, also the north side of 116, and then the potential to run gravity sewer upwards of a mile west of 116 past the hospital. So it would really open up that area for potential development. And again, the State Highway Department that expressed interest in connecting, we have an agreement in place, which I know Brian is a little more up to speed on what that is, but they are willing to inherit some of the cost of that project to be able to connect to that system. So if it is a council's will at this point, the design is complete and we are ready to go out for bid for that project. So I'm here to.
Where have you, the pump station, I know there was a question of where that was going to, where the pump station was going to be placed.
Right. Originally, we looked at a piece of property on OSF and the state right-of-way area. We found that there was a better property to the west that would suit our needs a little better and be just as good as a location. So that pump station itself ended up getting moved to the west, which just added a little bit of extra force main going to the east to connect into the sanitary sewer. But
So where will it be located then?
it will be on
State
the
highway thing?
just off the north or off the southwest area of the State Highway Department. There's a empty parcel there that where the pump station will go. And again, Brian can reiterate a little more of the specifics on the property itself as far as what our ownership of it is of it.
Yeah, it's my understanding that that's all state property and they're agreeing to allow us to put it there to allow them to be served by the sewer, so.
It's a good deal.
And that will serve the convalescent home?
That one's actually already on city south of OSF.
Yes.
Yes, that one's already on city sewer. So the existing city sewer, I believe when OSF decided to move out there, the city put a new sewer board underneath I-55 and headed that direction that stops at Ewing Drive to serve OSF. So it's that oversized sewer that we put in 25 years ago that we're going to connect to serve further areas to the west. So the city was thinking ahead when they bored that sewer, knowing that there could be potential growth around that area. So we have plenty of capacity on that existing sewer.
Okay. Okay, we have a motion to proceed. Motion by John Willie, seconded by Jerry Cowser. Roll call, please.
Lee,
Yes.
Cowser.
Yes.
Bradshaw.
Yes.
Cranford.
Yes.
Howard.
Yes.
Willie.
Yes.
Barr.
Yes.
Giovanini.
Yes.
Eckhoff.
Yes.
Thank you, council.
Super. Moving on, to Street Department, a vector purchase. I see Chris is fired up and ready to go too.
I am.
Take away.
Okay, thank you. You know, we had our budget meetings, you know, we talked about how it's still, even how many years now after COVID, it's still hard to find the things, equipment you're looking for. This year's been no exception. We've been looking for a dump truck, and we've either missed cutoff dates or suppliers can't provide the boxes that we need for it. And so we're not scratching our heads, but looking around at our other needs. And one of which kind of came to the forefront as something we've talked about for several years, but we just never moved forward with it. And that's purchasing an excavator. You can notice from the pictures in the packets, it's a rather large piece of equipment. But it's something that, believe it or not, we could use. We typically, on larger structures that we have to demolish, we have to hire that equipment out. The development that came up this year was we were able to acquire a large volume of black dirt from the airport project. And when you get into a big project, one of two things has to happen. You have to either hire somebody to come in and bring an excavator in, or we have to try and load it with our end loaders and backhoe. And sometimes those jobs are a little too much for our equipment, and you end up doing more harm than good to the equipment you do have. As I listed in the packet here, you know, things immediately, we do have 2 homes that need to come down. The black dirt pile, as I mentioned. Another thing is something Jake and I, and even Todd before Jake, mentioned, that is our ditch system is in desperate need of cleaning. They've silted in quite a bit. We have the north ditch. We have the ditch that kind of runs the east end and then back behind our shop and out to the river. Then there's one that goes up behind Donnelly's. They're just beginning to silt in, and those need to be cleaned. So we have enough jobs in the pipeline that we could warrant purchasing a machine. Just roughly, when we did demo those 2-story homes a few years ago, we spent $16,000 to do so. And then when we did clean one ditch, the one that runs along Deerfield Road over to 55, we hired that out, done probably about the same time, and it was $10,000 to have that done. So there's, in the long run, I think it's a piece of equipment that would be more than beneficial to the city. So we looked for a machine. Obviously, we had to look used. We're able to find one in Decatur, and it's a 2005 model excavator. And what's unique about this one is very low hours. It has 3,000 hours. And so it sounded too good to be true. So we went and looked at it, and we took an experienced operator with us, and he was impressed with it. You know, the normal things you see wear on this type of machine were still tight and solid. Obviously, with the low hours, the person that owns it, just used it for demolitions and site work. He would go in and rip out trees and things of that nature. What's nice with this machine, it comes with several different buckets. Comes with, and I think the picture shows quite a bit of what it doesn't show the ditch bucket, but it has a 5-foot flat blade for ditch work, a smaller bucket, 18-inch bucket with a tooth bucket, and he has a new this year, a 3-foot bucket, and then the grapple bucket, which is shown on the picture of the demolition, which all those are, if to be bought individual of the machine, are expensive. And one item we did look for this year was a heavy-duty trailer, because we do have our semi that we use quite a bit, and so we were looking for a larger trailer for, like when we haul in the ice rink, we haul equipment around, you need a 30, 40,000 pound trailer to handle that kind of weight. And so we're looking at them, they were averaging for new 30 to 35,000. And he actually has one that he has with this machine, which is an actual even heavier trailer, a 46,000 pound trailer that he's willing to make a deal on as well. So dollar-wise, the cost of the machine with all the buckets is $72,750, and then he was asking $10,000 for the trailer, and that's in excellent condition too. So the total cost would be $82,750, and we would like to move forward with that. The gentleman owns, he does multiple service down in Decatur area between demolitions and site work. His name is Tony Clifton, which if you're a taxi fan, if you remember Tony Clifton from Andy Kaufman's.
Trivia.
That's what came to my mind when I saw his name. I was like, oh my goodness.
Does he look like him?
No. No.
Didn't know his name.
We have $130,000 in our budget for new equipment this year, of which we have spent $6,000 for a new power lift gate for a pickup truck. So we would like to utilize some of those funds to purchase this machine. I think in the long run, it's going to be a benefit for the city. And if we decide to get out of not using it, there's still enough value there that if we did sell it, we would get some return on our money. So if the next...
The 82,000 includes the trailer, right?
That's out the door, everything. Yep.
Okay.
What of attachments that we already have will fit that? Or other attachments that we already have, like the small tree thing that...
Oh, our boom mower?
Yeah.
It would not work on this machine without some additional work. We would have to look and see if it would warrant.
But we have other buckets that'll also fit that.
Well, this unit is big enough that it would need, this is common with any bucket we would ever need. The appealing thing is it is the ditch bucket that's already got the flat blade you can shape and do what you need to do. And the bigger tooth bucket, that's fairly new. Those are $18,000, and he's pretty much throwing it in. And the grapple bucket is fairly expensive too. So, I mean, the machine, he's the second owner, I believe. And I don't know if any of you know Mike Snyder that mows grass for us. He was a retired operator from the landfill who ran these quite a bit. He went top to bottom over it, and he was pretty impressed with it. So anyway, that's what we'd like to do, and I'd entertain questions. Or
if you were to hire this out, what would the hourly rate be? I mean, if you were hiring a machine and an operator, what would the hourly rate be?
Well, they usually charge by the day. I'm just rough estimation would be probably $1,500, if not more, because a truck and a semi is $1,200 a day. So this machine, rental, we looked at renting. You're looking at least $5,000 a month to rent. And the problem with renting is if you have a rainy spell, that machine's sitting, and you're not, depending on the type of work you're doing, you're not able to use it. What was appealing with this is it had the trailer. So before, if we were to rent a machine, if we had to move it, we had to hire somebody, come in with a truck, load it up, take it to your next job. This is kind of going to be able to keep everything in-house. And the trailer is going to have added benefits, because it will hold any of our pieces of equipment if we ever had to which we've had to do. We've had to take equipment to Peoria before to have major work done to it, and we'd be able to do that. I think the last time we took, when our backhoe had to go to Peoria, it was $750 each way to truck it. So there's some added benefits with it.
What did you say you spent last year or this year for tearing down the houses?
Well, when we tore the Polk Street house and the South Locust Street house, those were 2-story, so we had to hire those out, and it was $16,000 to do that.
For both?
For both of them. So we can tear down the smaller ones. It's just we have to knock it down with our backhoe, and it really doesn't break it up as fine as we'd like it, so we have to take our end loader in and dig down into it and crunch it up with the grapple bucket and then load it out, where this machine we'd be able to chew it up, and then he'd be able to sit on the pile and just load it right out into our trucks and be gone. So it's going to speed some things up. You know, it's like a lot of machines, you don't use them every day, but it's something that you need.
Save cost of tearing down these houses.
Mike, you got a question?
Chris, are there any other pieces of equipment that are at a critical juncture and that would still fit in your remaining budget?
We do need eventually need a 1-ton truck, but I think we've gone through them enough to keep them going another year. Okay. We looked at other different pieces of equipment, but we're just kind of in the same boat. Do we do this? We have an immediate need for this, but crucial. That's nothing that we have to have immediately. Like if we needed a new asphalt roller or something like that. There's not crucial in the pipeline other than a 1-ton truck, and we were just having trouble finding them. I even I looked for trucks that were already built, new ones, and they were $98,000 for a 1-ton pickup truck. I just couldn't see, because we do get some of a discount if we can get them through the factory.
Yeah.
And I talked with a couple of folks that actually build them and sell to municipalities, and they're having a hard time getting them too. So we thought, well, we do have some immediate needs, and that we can justify it in the long run. We've got a mess out the shop that 30 years of just piles that need to be picked up and leveled. And and the nice thing in the wintertime, if the ground's not too frozen, we could still use this machine and work. So
Okay.
We kind of discussed too that just in our regular projects and the projects that he has sitting around, 4 years worth of project, and we pretty much pay for that piece of equipment.
Yeah.
yeah, it's kind of a different piece of equipment to look at. So it's a lot to kind of.
Yeah.
Oh, was that my truck honking? But you know, we do have the talent in-house to run it and to have some value of it. And if the situation changes in 10 years, you can always stick a for sale sign on it. So.
Not a truck, is it?
No, I have a wide SUV.
Somebody just broke in. It's over here.
What's the matter?
The car alarm.
Somebody's car's going.
Oh, maybe I sat on my key.
I wouldn't think from this far away it would.
Yeah.
I motion acceptance of purchasing, and let's put it to use right away.
Yes.
A second.
Somebody's whiteboard is honking.
Yeah,
Right.
that's mine.
Yeah, we're trying to figure it out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're going to set the honking, or?
I'm gonna second approval of the excavator.
Okay. All right, we do have a motion to go ahead with the purchase by Kelly, seconded by Jamie. As soon as Mike gets halfway back here, we'll have the roll call.
Yes.
Hauser,
Yes.
Bradshaw. Yes. Cranford,
Yes.
Howard,
Yes.
Willie,
Yes.
Barr,
Yes.
Giovanini,
Yes.
Eckhoff.
Yes.
Lee.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good working, Chris.
Thank you for your confidence in our decisions too. I appreciate that.
Yeah. You take care. Moving on. Oh, mayor's comments. Boy, I got a bunch, but I think I'll defer for a moment to Liz and tell her what a great job this weekend was. And you want to give a synopsis on the weekend?
Sure. Just so I have a microphone. So this weekend was our summer send-off and our GTO AA weekend. This was the 12th annual GTO weekend. The summer send-off was our final concert of the year, and it also was held in conjunction, this was on Saturday, in conjunction with GTOs. We had our final cruise night and then our final concert, which was Rosie and the Rivets. Both were really well attended. There were quite a few cars. I never did get a final count, but there were quite a few cars. And I have to say, huge thanks to Parks and Rec, to Chris and his guys. There was a lot of hands helping out to make all of that happen. And then Sunday, the weather didn't quite cooperate with the car show, but they always aim for about 200 cars is their goal. And even with the weather that they had 107 registrants, which overall was really, really good. All of them, they come from all over the Midwest, a lot from Missouri, a lot from all over Illinois as well. And again, they're thrilled with Pontiac. They love it here. So I'm looking forward to finding out the dates for next year for the 13th annual.
Great. It was a great show.
Thank you.
And those people are enthusiasm personified. And they really appreciated all the efforts from everyone, especially Liz and Chris, the police department, the fire department, everybody else. So they're very thankful. The other thing I wanted to bring up was there is a community solar meeting the 27th at the community center, which probably should be attended if you have interest and opportunity. And
When was that?
Dave, I wanted to ask you about signs. You were having so much fun. I wanted to, how many signs did you end up?
21,
21 signs, huh?
Saturday morning.
Yeah. People want to put up signs where they're not supposed to and different things, and
Not allowed in Vision Triangle.
yeah. So there was a lot of Facebook stuff on this too. And,
Oh, I saw it.
yeah,
We had
so
a garage sale in our neighborhood, and the signs were up when I left, and when I came back, some of those signs were gone. So, and then my wife mentioned the Facebook,
yeah,
and I thought,
yeah. Well, it's part of the job, and
Yeah, it is.
Dave does an excellent job.
I know a lot of people don't like the ordinance, but I mean, they have to change it.
Is it standard procedure every Saturday morning, Dave?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
Or Friday afternoon. But Friday it was so congested, I just waited till Saturday to do it.
Yeah.
So, I do it every week.
Yeah.
It's nothing new, so.
Yeah.
Dave did it for many years, I'm doing it, and the next guy's gonna do the same.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I know. Just that should mention that, you know, there is some marshaling about it, and we have to follow the rules.
We do.
Yeah.
Follow the rules.
People could put signs up closer to their homes.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's just in the right of way that they're not permitted,
Right.
correct?
Exactly.
And you know what? The other note for that is, if any signs were taken, and Dave, usually if it looks like it's a sign of value, he hangs on to it. We have them here,
Keep them all.
and they can come and pick up their signs if they want to reuse them in their yard.
Real
Maybe
good.
it would be worthy of a public service announcement somehow of what, you know, what is permitted and how they could put signs up correctly.
Well, they can put them on private property, and then I can't do anything about that.
Yeah.
But they have to get permission from the property owner.
Yeah. We've seen that at election time too. Yes. Yeah. All right.
All right.
I did get a email about some interest in trees and mulch and different things, and I was going to get together with Chris to see if there was something that we could look at there to get the word out better on
Yeah,
What
there
needs to
should
be
be, I'm preparing something right now for the fall
Okay,
to get that out. Probably next council meeting, I'll come with an order.
yeah.
Um,
Something we can get in our newsletter and different things to
Yeah,
make everybody aware.
Yeah, we've had some issues with contractors working on city trees without permission lately too. I don't know if that.
Yeah, that's what this
that letter
referred
had
to.
anything do with it.
Part of it, yeah.
Mulch on trees that belong to the city and.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, other than that, it was a great weekend and a lot of hard work and a lot of nice people around town. And we're looking forward to the next season that's coming up, so. City council comments.
Go ahead.
Well, first thing I have, I mentioned to Jim, I would like to get a finance committee meeting set up, or he thought maybe we might need a couple committee of the whole workshops for a couple of things, but I just want to throw that out there. Hopefully sometime in the next 2 or 3 weeks, but we have a lot going on next week. I was just going to bring up about the signage question too, but emails. Alan, I need kind of your opinion. I think most of us may. We've been getting a lot of group emails recently about subjects that I frequently will comment to, but sometimes I reply all. And do we need to be more cautious about creating a public?
I think you do need to be cautious on that. You can receive emails, you can reply one-on-one, but I think the group stuff that involves more than potentially a majority of a quorum of a committee or of the council could be construed as an electronic meeting.
Yeah, I mean,
And
I
think it's
tried to
just-
read today
Try to
about it.
respond to people that email you, and a lot of times they may email every council member. I generally don't get them, but I'm a big no reply aller. I don't just hit reply all, and I've always taken the position with different city officers that have asked me that be extremely careful with any kind of email response, because once it's out there, it's out there.
Right.
And be careful with confidentiality and any of that stuff. You know, if you know somebody, if somebody with a legitimate concern, a phone call might make more sense than trying to reply to an email. It might be quicker too, potentially, depending on how long-winded the other person is. But I do think we need to watch the potential of this becoming a way of bypassing the normal open meeting, and we can't do that. We haven't had any complaints to my knowledge, but I think it's really important that we are careful that way.
Well, Jamie and I were kind of talking about it,
That's-
and I
called
said,
Kelly and was
I
like,
think,
"What are the
you know,
rules on this?"
so I was reading through, and we don't want, because it's subjects that,
There
we
was
should be.
something in the municipal magazine maybe a year and a half ago that touched on.
Yeah,
that
I found
potential
it today in the IML, basically what you said, that we shouldn't reply all, or be careful about
You
answering.
can certainly deal with the constituent's question, one-on-one, but you've got to be, that isn't the problem, communicating with the public. The problem's communicating with each other.
Right,
So we've got to
Right.
keep the each other communications here if they're related to city
Yep.
business. I mean, if you're setting up something to go to coffee, that's different.
okay.
But going to coffee together could be a problem, could be a meeting, remember that.
Yep,
Got that right?
Barb?
Dairy Queen.
Yeah, there you go. Big, huge kudos thanks to Chris and his crew for the 13th annual Vermilion River cleanup. I don't know how many dump trucks Chris and his guys hauled away. It was actually pretty sickening,
It is.
to be honest. He had to bring back, he went and left, he's back and forth the whole time, but he had to go down to the city shop and get the backhoe because a couple of volunteers towed in an empty fuel cell, plastic fuel cell, that was probably held, how many gallons, Chris?
It was probably 150 gallon.
Yeah. It took us, one guy who took his bass boat, a couple of the guys in the canoe picked it up. They got about 15 feet with it, and thank God John Slagle was around with his bass boat, and he towed it from, I think it was the east side of Chautauqua Park up to the loading zone, or the ramp. And then one of the volunteers that had been in the canoe had his truck there, and he got out his logging chain and all that and pulled up, and they poked holes in it and let it all drain. It was pretty nasty. And then Chris got his backhoe and crunched it and put it up on the trailer. But I don't know how many tires, toilets, grocery carts, TVs, microwaves. It's appalling. It really is what people are dumping in this river. So anyway, on that note, I would like to see us do one.
As a city?
Yes, as a city. And maybe I talked with Donnie Simmons a couple of weeks ago. They did a tire cleanup, and they only had funding for 1,200 tires, and he's got a grant that he goes through. But I would like to see us do either tires, another river cleanup, something of that sort, because that seems to be the majority of what we're picking up out of the river.
The new tractor help out.
Tires, you mean? Tires are the
Yeah,
bulk
tires.
of what?
Tires, microwaves, grocery carts, bikes.
I seen the bicycle laying on the boat ramp the other day.
Yeah, and a toilet, a big toilet. And there was another one that they couldn't get out. That was further east of Chautauqua. It was sunk in the mud. They tried, and I think 3 of them tried to get it out, and they just,
There was a pickup truck between the two bridges.
yeah. Well, there's been an assortment, but anyway, if we could, I'd like to get one, have a city-sponsored one. But anyway, I want to thank Chris and his crew for all their huge efforts and everything that they did Saturday. They're to be commended.
Is that something that we could put on a committee? Like, I don't know what committee that would fall under to discuss starting that? What committee would that be?
Well,
Public
there's a lot of
safety,
community action.
I'll look at the,
Yeah, community services, yeah.
Yeah.
I have the list. It kind of has what our,
Yeah, I think that's something we
We
could
can
put
put
on
it
an
on
agenda.
to the
I'd like to see that.
agenda, yeah.
garbage and recycling, is that considered a
Sound-
function of garbage
sound
and
reasonable.
recycling?
I don't know
That's
if it's-
infrastructure.
Would it be parks? I don't know.
Not really
Yeah.
parks.
Yeah, I mean, that's the closest
Would it-
one. Parks would be public properties and utilities. Infrastructure would be garbage collection, recycling.
Okay, so infrastructure.
Yeah, maybe infrastructure. Who's on that?
Frank is the chairman. Willie, Barr, Causer, Cranford, and Eckhoff.
Yeah.
Either that or form a whole completely different committee just for, like Jerry said, an environmental committee.
Yeah, we're not gonna do that right now.
Okay. All right.
But
Just
we
a
will,
suggestion.
we will put together, we have 2 committees of the whole coming up. We can bring out
Okay.
part of that subject in that time frame.
We don't have anything
good
for
idea.
infrastructure coming up, do we?
Thanks.
Great idea.
Well, we do, but not today. Yeah, okay. Any other council comments? If not, city administrator.
Sure, and I just would like to echo, while Liz thanked all the other departments, I would like to add her into that list. They spent a long weekend themselves out there in the rain and all day and all night, Saturday, and what a great way to end the summer here in town. So thank you very much. I do think I would like to get together at least a 1 or 2 committee of the wholes. As we were talking in-house about the downtown and our vision for the downtown, we have a couple things sitting out there. We have the streetscapes plan. We have a TIF redevelopment project with the downtown that's got 9.5 years left on it. And a number of needs. We have some needs on outside dining standards and how we're going to approach the downtown post-COVID. And we thought it might be a good idea as we looked at that to rather, instead of looking at it as individual committees of, there's so many of those facets that overlap the committees, of putting the whole thing together so we can develop number one, a focus area, and then a sort of a vision of how we would like that to look, the funding on what we can realistically do, and to have some design kind of standards in place that as we look at potentially parklets or outdoor seating, bump outs, lighting, that as we're able to fund, because we wouldn't be able to fund the entire thing at one time, but in phases, that we have some standards in place that we already know that the lighting will look like this, and so as we go, that we have a pretty comprehensive plan that to take care of those issues, that it'll all match and it'll all increase that EAV of everything else down there. So my thought was, rather than have infrastructure talk about their part, that we just get, and finance talk about their part, that we put the whole committee together. Not probably next week, we have a busy week next week, but looking a couple weeks, 2-3 weeks in advance of that. Either you can give me a couple dates, or I can put together some dates and I can schedule them and we can put it out. We have the next week, the Tuesday and Thursday. The Tuesday and Thursday seem to be good days.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and we can put together some dates.
We put a little bit of a straw poll together, and those seem to be workable dates for meetings at this point. One thing to remember, that a lot of these meetings that we're talking about coming up are executive session meetings.
Correct.
Keep that in mind as we're doing things, especially next week. So, public comments. The public left. Bernie got what he wanted and he left. Okay, Bernie. Other than that, I think we're pretty well wrapped up. We take a motion to adjourn by Frank Giovanini, seconded by Mike Barr.